Good morning. You're watching Businessworld Live. I'm Danny Laurel. It's the start of a new trading day. Let's kick off with our top story. The Bangko Sentral has capped the number of digital banks that can operate in the country to 6. BSP Governor Ben Diokno said the central bank decided not to increase the digital bank licenses to 7 as previously announced after applicants failed to fill the remaining slots due to non-compliance with requirements. Diokno said there were 9 entities with pending applications that failed to submit the required documents. Diokno said the cap would allow regulators to closely monitor developments and would ensure healthy competition among digital and traditional lenders. The 6 entities that have obtained digital banking licenses are Overseas Filipino Bank, Tonic Digital Bank, Uno Bank, Union Digital Bank, GoTime, and Voyager Innovations' Maya Bank. Now, inflation slightly eased to 4.8% in September. That's from the previous month's reading of 4.9%. You can see that on your screens here. However, that is still the second highest inflation print for the year, but the rise in prices is lower than the median analyst estimates of 5%. September inflation also hit the low end of the BSP's estimate range for the month, which was 4.8% to 5.6%. Year-to-date inflation is now averaging at 4.5%. That's still above the Bangko Sentral's 2 to 4% target. The PSA said the slower inflation was mainly due to the slowdown in the prices of transportation, food, and non-alcoholic beverages also pulled down the price acceleration rate. With this, BSP Governor Ben Diokno says the Bangko Sentral will keep its accommodative policy for as long as needed. After all, Diokno expects inflation to ease back within target in 2022 and 2023 after remaining elevated for the rest of the year. Quick check on our local unit, the peso here. That's, of course, on the back of this inflation print. You can see us trading at 50.764 to the greenback. This also comes as DBS says that we may be hitting 52 to the greenback as well. We did, however, weaken a touch as of yesterday ahead of that inflation print. Now let's take a look at how our markets are opening today. Down a touch by 0.4% to 6935.74. And one sector that I would like to watch out for are the financial space, of course, not just with this inflation print, but also on that story of the digital license cap for now and how that is affecting our own local lenders. You do see them are trading rather flattish here, although more slightly tilted towards the red. Financials down by 0.07%, dragged down by our biggest lender, BDO, down by 0.4%. A quick peek on the movers here of the day and how they are faring. You can see on my terminal here, Bloomberry up by 2.6%, going against the tide together with AEV, Globe, and LTG. But on the downside, you've got the other unit of Aboitiz Power, one of the losers here together with Ayala Corporation, and JG Summit is the worst performer. That's down by 1.2%, 6 minutes into trade. And finally, just one quick peek at Facebook, at least how it closed overnight in the United States. Take a look at the 3-day chart, down by close to 4%, and yesterday down by 4.9%. No surprises here. Everyone that was on the platform yesterday, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, would have experienced a lot of issues, and they did have a global outage, and that just exacerbated the whistleblower revelations that they had earlier on. So this global outage lasted yesterday on Monday for 7 hours. And that is also after there were a lot of criticisms and fears on the platform's safety when it comes to information sharing. And there has been a whistleblower, an ex-worker. Her name is Frances Hogan, and she used Facebook's own research to turn over to the authorities and the Wall Street Journal. So there are a lot of issues yesterday. 10.6 million reports of problems, and the services began returning online. Facebook has not yet communicated on the possible cause of the outage, but cybersecurity experts said that they did find some signs that the online routes that led people to the social giant were disrupted. day 5 of the filing of certificates of candidacy over in Pasay City, and so far only one party list has filed their certificate of nomination and acceptance or CONA this morning. Incumbent Congressman Bong Teves from the Talino at Galing ng Pinoy or TGP party list personally went to Sofitel to file the CONAs for their party list. This brings the total number of party list organizations who filed their CONAs with the COMELEC to 49. Meanwhile, attorney Larry Gadon has also arrived to file his COC for senator under Kilusang Bagong Lipunan. Samuel Hardin is also running for Senate as an independent candidate. So far, 20 presidential aspirants have filed their COCs with the COMELEC that includes Senator Manny Pacquiao and Manila Mayor Isko Moreno. 7 have filed for vice president, including Dr. Willie Ong and Representative Lito Atienza, while 41 have filed for the senatorial race. Inflation finally below expectations, at least for September. Should we be relieved? Here to discuss the latest on the economy, we have with us Dr. Sir Percival Peña Reyes. He is assistant professor at the Department of Economics at the Ateneo de Manila University, as well as associate director of the Ateneo Center for Economic Research and Development. Good morning, Prof, and welcome.
Hello, good morning, Danny, and to all of your viewers. Thank you for having me.
Sir, quick reaction to the September inflation print, highest, second month high, and also bringing our 9-month average to 4.5%. Nevertheless, lower than what analysts were expecting in terms of a median rate. What is your take?
Well, we forecasted actually 5%, no? Pretty much the same as what other analysts surveyed gave, no? And well, this is of course the 4.8%, no, is lower than what we were expecting, no? But still, it's still higher than the 2 to 4% target range of the BSP. And for the rest of the year, we foresee it to be still slightly above it. No, maybe it might taper down come December, but this shouldn't be unmanageable, I think. No, it's something that the accommodative policy stance of the central bank, no, is good until next year. What we really want is to maintain an accommodative policy to abet economic growth, no? Because really what is lethargic is the demand side. And non-monetary measures are required to address the supply side issues that we're seeing. So the inflation that we're seeing now, it's really more on the supply side, brought about by higher energy prices, electricity and gas, and also food prices, no, notably, no, chicken, meat, and vegetables. So all of these things are related, no, because it's hard to transport goods nowadays, no. In fact,
Okay.
no, there is global inflation brought about by delays in shipping, no? So there are accrued shipping fees, no, that are due to these delays, no? And it's also affecting not just us, no, but also the rest of the world, I think.
Sir, have we already passed the peak of August, especially when now we're on the downward trend? Can you already safely say, especially since we do see inflation in the rest of the world, not as transitory as they thought, particularly in the U.S., and also rising oil prices still threatening?
That we cannot really say. A lot of things are uncertain, no? Even with our growth outlook, no? A lot of things are uncertain. For that, no, we have to see um, how let's say, for instance, no, our currency, no, how it will move, okay? Because the weakening of the peso depreciation, it's not really helping us, no? And imports are also getting more expensive owing to more expensive shipping and higher transportation costs of goods. And also much of what we produce, no, much of what we import rather is food, because domestic production of food is uh, subdued nowadays because of the pandemic. But it depends. So I cannot really say for sure if we're past that,
Okay.
and we're seeing trends outside, no, that do
Mm-mm.
not really prove to be encouraging as of the moment.
Sir, what about demand side pull of inflation? Will you be seeing that, especially as we approach December spending? And should that be a positive thing for the economy, or worrying, given that we want to, as you mentioned, maintain the accommodative policy rate and low interest rate environment?
The demand pull inflation, I guess that's something that we'd want to see also, no? Especially during the Burr months, no? The fourth quarter and approaching election season, no? Because these are times, no, where people get to spend more and money incomes, goods and services get circulated more quickly. So I don't really see it as something bad. In
Okay.
fact, that's precisely why we have an accommodative policy, no?
Mm-hmm.
Because we want to prop up demand, no? And hopefully when demand picks up, supply is going to follow.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be more businesses, no, enticed by this, no? Because really it's a thing that has spilled over, no, lethargic
Okay.
demand leading
Mm-hmm.
to business closures and people getting laid off, losing income, etc., which again would mean more lethargic demand. So I think that's something positive that we should look forward to, no, this season where spending would usually, no, take place
Sir,
more.
So you mentioned that it's hard to understand what growth rate we are going to be looking at for the rest of the year. But just looking back on the third quarter, which we've just finished, what's your expectation here precisely because we were back in ECQTs in Metro Manila in the month of August, and we're following, as you can see in this chart here, the second quarter at least in double digits, but also that was due to a low base
Mhm.
year. What are you expecting for the third quarter?
Well, for the third and fourth quarters, no, compared with last year on year, we're going to compare it, of course, no, with the higher base. So we cannot really expect higher year on year growth, no, for third and fourth quarter. In fact, in ASERD, the Ateneo Center for Economic Research and Development, our forecast, no, for the third and fourth quarters are year on year 3 to 4% and 1 to 2% no, respectively, no, year on year for Q3 and Q4. And for the entire year, it's probably going to be 3 to 4%. Okay, but
Okay.
that depends also, no, on how quickly we arrest the spread of the disease. No?
So lower than the government's target for you, 3 to 4%.
Yes,
Sir,
I think
finally, go ahead, sir.
4 to 5% is the government target,
Correct.
but we
Yes.
stand pat on 3 to 4%.
Okay. Finally, sir, on the topic of elections, and of course, we're continuing to look at the filing of COCs until the end of the week. Tell us, what should the admin or the next administration be focusing on to ensure economic recovery? What are the low hanging fruits here that you are watching out for that will translate into better growth?
Well, I think it should stick to its game plan, and they have a clear game plan already, no? Rolling vaccines out more efficiently, opening up the economy more carefully, and stimulating economic growth no more effectively. I think that's the 3-point game plan that they began with, and they probably need to stick to that. So investments should go really more to um, testing, tracing, treatment, and vaccination. As I keep mentioning this, no, because really what we need to secure are human resources. No? And another thing, we need to invest really on sectors that would generate the most benefits for the widest members, no? Widest number of people. No? I think agriculture, no, would be a nice investment destination. And also, no, this could be actually supported by investments in the digital economy, since many of our economic transactions are actually being facilitated digitally right now.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
there's a way, no, maybe
Mm-hmm.
no creative minds, no, can find a way to connect digitally, no, consumers and food producers, no, or farmers. No? So that would be a nice way, no, to stimulate agricultural activity where it's safest to open,
Mm-hmm.
and where many people are employed.
Thank you so much for those insights. That was, of course, Dr. Sir Percival Peña Reyes of the Ateneo de Manila University.
Thank you, and good day to all of you.
And that's a first look into the business day. Today is Tuesday, October 5th, 2021. Catch Business World Live for the market closes at 3:15 p.m. today. I'm Danny Laurel. Mask on, wash hands, stay safe, Philippines. We are One News.